So before we get into this, I want to thank everybody for getting me to 33 subscribers. It means a lot that anybody wants anything to do with this channel. And I'm glad that there are people who share the love for custom diecast as I do. People after my own heart. I love to see it. I haven't made a video in over 3 months, and I knew it's been long overdue for a while. And so here are, and you know, it wasn't for lack of trying. I've definitely made many attempts at making some sort of update, some sort of check-in, you know, with the people. But I appreciate you guys sticking around, and it's been wonderful these first couple of years. So let's get right into it. So I mentioned that I would try to make a video. And I did. It was 30 minutes long, and I couldn't transfer it off of my phone for some ungodly reason. But I went through and showed, I attempted to show how to do peel and stick cars on this, on the Xfinity bodies, as they don't match the templates very well. I colored the roof rails and the shark fin and the spoiler beforehand. I had to split the bumper above where this graphic is. Hold on, let me try to focus it here. And now I need a position. It's hard to do this with two hands. Yeah. I had to cut above where that gray graphic is and separate them a little bit, as opposed to just sticking it right on the back without any splitting. You know what I mean? And then on the side here, I separated the number from this exhaust piece and the contingencies, and as well as this. And I mean, you do see the edges of the decal, but of course when you paint it the white background with the white decal, it's not so bad. And that's just how I do it. If I had done a full wrap up here, would have been it wouldn't have looked as good. Trying to mash down the decal into this corner on the roof rail can be very difficult. I still wound up having to cram all those logos up there, but still, you know. And then turning it around, I made a little notch for the V. You notice it's a little off, but right down the middle, just to kind of give it that illusion that the shark fin went over the trunk decal. I don't know, you call it a deck lid, but I think most people call it a trunk. I call it a deck lid, but I'll call it a trunk. Make the exception this one video. And then, of course, with the posts, you always have to separate those. Because again, you know, it's just not a perfect, it doesn't match up perfectly with the body. The templates don't. And of course, like I said before, you do see the edges, but, you know, I don't really have that much of a problem with it. Maybe some other people do. These, whenever I do the peel and stick, now, first of all, this came from a domestic seller who bought it from Australia, an Australian manufacturer, but he doesn't delete the background. And I just bought this out of convenience because I don't have that many Camaros left, and I wanted to do multiple different cars, so I wound up paying $10 for the sheet. The problem is people don't really like the peel and stick as you know, as far as buyers go, as far as creators go. I think it's a good starter to get people. I don't know. It's not a good starter. I think people are more comfortable doing peel and stick because water slide is a little bit more of a process, using water and paper towel, and I think it's better. It's easier to position decals that way as opposed to this method where, you know, I normally will like drag a corner and then position it that way. I don't just stick it on and hope for the best. Or hope for the best and stick it on. You know, you still have to be precise with, you really have to be precise with this. More so than with the water slide. As we'll see more of, we'll see the aforementioned water slide cars, or water slide decals on these cars. Right here, starting with this Kyle Larson McDonald's. It's not complete yet. But this came out really well, as opposed, with the exception of the splitter here. There's a little bit of a bubble there, and I haven't finished painting the spoiler. But for the most part, really excited about this car. I had to paint the skirts. Not a big deal. I can live with that. Anyway, that's that. And then we have a Matt Kenseth Ritz car. This was kind of a meme for a little while, back in probably 2020. The grill isn't perfect. You notice that like part of it's leaning towards the headlight, but everything else about this car, I think I'm very happy with it. I might paint the roof rails, but I don't want to risk ruining anything. Here's another Matt Kenseth car that I'm not so thrilled with because it kind of bubbled up around the hood, sort of. It's a little wrinkly. And the paint around the skirts came up a little bit. So I've got to manage this car. I've got to do a little touching up with that. And then we have a couple of Ricky Craven cars. One's on a 98 body and one's on a 99. Sorry about the lighting. Here is the 98. This was originally a Lake Speed Happy Birthday NASCAR from 1998. You know, of course. And yeah, that already has the Tamiya on it. Both of these do, actually. And very pleased with them. I like this straighter spoiler. I think that looks really good. One of these cars has a little bit of a bubble at the side, but, you know, I'm just going to have to live with that. And this one's a little rough around the window, so I'll have to do a little extra work with that. Here's Kyle Steckley's ARCA car from Daytona, another car that is incomplete. But I'm going to get the General Tire logos on there and some Tamiya, and this car is going to shine up pretty well. I don't remember exactly what car this was originally. Maybe a Marcus Ambrose. I don't see any screw holes there, so it might have been from early 2014. I know late 2013, they were using I think they called it the PTC with the shitty wheels and the screws. But like some of the cars were put on like just normal, what would you call it, the EL? I don't know. J, I'm not sure which one it is. Here's a Tamiya. Here's a Alex Bowman Ally Arena car from 2023. I'm sorry about this video. It's not going very well. But I'm tired of trying to make this. But yeah, I didn't line up the decals very well. Unfortunately, this pink is supposed to be a little bit lower. And at the side, something folded over on the number, and I can't get it up off of it, sadly. So, but everything else is good. The back came together really well. This is nice and solid. Nice and shiny. It's really not a bad car, just, you know, it could have been a lot better. But any number of things can go wrong in your endeavors. With each car, there's so many steps to the process, and you know, it's unfortunate. Here's an Alex Bowman Detroit Pistons car, which was a request. Sorry about the people on their Jake brakes out on the highway. The other Alex Bowman car you just saw was also a request. This just needs the banners put on, and I think it's ready to go. Yeah, something about the Gen 7 template that they use in this car don't line up well, so I kind of had to wrestle that into place, and obviously it's just a little bit off. So, you know, typically now what I'll do is just completely bypass this window outline altogether because it's really annoying and it just doesn't need to be there at all. I guess some people do prefer it. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's got a nice sheen to it. It's got the Tamiya on there. And then some upcoming cars. Not pictured here is the Andy Lally car that I have painted, but I've misplaced the body somewhere. but that's coming up. I might do a video with that. And I have this Michael McDowell National Day of Prayer car. The side is a little rough, as you can tell. That side's fine for whatever ungodly reason. No pun intended. Yeah, just, I don't know, that's kind of disappointing, but the decal is going to go up over it, so I'm not too upset about it, and potentially it might not even be a car that I sell. I don't know. We'll see. And meaning that I might give it away. So, yeah. And then I have this white Pontiac, which will be a Mike Bliss Viagra car. I'm trying to get this damn thing to focus. Story of my life, right? This was originally the Bobby Labonte car that you may see in a stop motion that I need to be working on and release soon, which I don't know if I'm going to do it or not. That video, it sucks. It's really bad. But I'll try to salvage something out of it, because I did devote many months of my life into that. It's only a 25-lap race. But anyway, yeah, so that's all that I've got for you for now. Like I said, I've been busy and I've lacked the motivation. And this is also, I'm planning for this to be the final year of Budget Customs, which I'm kind of on track to achieving that goal, considering how low I am with cars remaining. But there will still be many videos pertaining to this topic, and maybe the direction that I go will still tie auto racing into it. So stay tuned, and thank you so much again for subscribing and hanging around and listening to me ramble about something that I'm deeply passionate about. But I think it's time to move on to other things. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But thanks again. Be well. Have a wonderful week.